The first week of Philadelphia Eagles training camp is in the books. And honestly, I understand that the Eagles had somewhat of a fall off last year through really no fault of their own. Well, we're not here to make excuses, but I am here to tell you that the Eagles, I'm excited. I think they're going to be another team that potentially makes another Super Bowl run. They have the talent. They finally got help in the cornerback room. And there's a lot of players that are already showing out in the early stages of training camp. And we're here to cover it in our now. Everybody's got their own edition, of like winners and losers, risers and fallers, standouts and fizzouts for our other show. Ours for now for the Eagles is going to be flyers and flops. Get it? Okay. So we're going to start out with, and maybe hopefully this catches on. Basically, all you have to know, this is our winners and losers, which is flyers and flops as part of FAM Sports here for the Philadelphia Eagles. And to start things off here, it is the flyers, and yes, it's Quinyon Mitchell, who, like, to start things out, he was mainly just a second-team guy, but he has really, really done a very good job of coming out, competing, and he might be your starting slot cornerback through training camp. At least that's what we're seeing. And I think he might, if injuries happen, I think even if injuries don't happen, he might get an opportunity to come in and show what he can do on that outside level. And, I mean, he has been everything as advertised. He was the best corner coming out of the draft. That's right, we said it. And somehow the Eagles ended up with him later in the first round there, and it is what it is. I mean, obviously the running quarterbacks helped, but Quinyon Mitchell has been an absolute stud. He's been running a lot with the ones in the slot and has also been doing a really good job. And I mean, he's gaining a lot of steam right now, and I'm really going to be excited to see him as he goes throughout the preseason process here and through the games and everything. The next flyer for us is Devonta Smith. Like, new contract, obviously playing like he is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL right now. I fully believe that he will show that he is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. And through the first couple of practices for training camp, the man I don't think he's really dropped anything to my recollection. And he's been that vertical deep threat that we all know and love for the Eagles. And with Jalen Hurts and this offense struggling in the spring, it seems like they have really found their stride in training camp. And Devonta Smith has been a big reason for that. And so I think for that, with the new contract and everything, I mean, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for the Eagles, I think it would not be far-fetched to say that he is going to come out and absolutely ball out and have his third straight 1,000-yard season for Philadelphia. The next flyer is Nolan Smith. So obviously, the amount of talent that the Eagles had on the defensive line last year led to some players not getting as much playing time, and Nolan Smith was one of those guys. He has been absolutely tearing it up at training camp, and I think that is going to be a seamless transition for him to be a starter for the Eagles. And I think he is. I think double-digit sacks is definitely doable in year 2 for him, but these Georgia defenders just seem to get after it for the Eagles. So Nolan Smith, I think he's going to come out and do some really good things for the Eagles, and he's going to be a name to watch in the preseason as well during the regular season. James Bradberry. So obviously, the best thing that you can do for a room that had injuries and had struggles at corner is, hey, bring in competition, right? And that's exactly what James Bradberry is doing. Obviously, Mitchell in the building. Cooper DeJean has been out, but James Bradberry is competing, and that's what you love to see, and I think he's going to continue to do that. And even at the very worst, if he doesn't make the squad, which I don't necessarily see happening, he could make for a very valuable, versatile weapon to use as depth, but also might be a trade piece. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that might need the man, so we'll see what happens there. Also, Jalen Hurts, like, you really got to hand it to Jalen Hurts coming back in the spring, new offense and everything, or at least an offense that wasn't playing well in the spring, it wasn't pretty, right? Like, we kind of expected it, but kind of saw it, and we were a little bit worried. But, I mean, training camp has been very, very seamless for this offense, for the Eagles, and I think that Jalen Hurts deserves a lot of credit. I think he's going to come back in and continually, be an explosive part of this and make this offense explosive. And so Jalen Hurts, hats off to him. He's done a very, very, very good job for the Eagles so far, and I don't expect him to slow down anytime soon. Now for the flops. Yes, the flops. We got to go to the first one, and I hate to say it, is Aeneas Smith here. Both him and Wilson, we'll get to him in a second. Drops have been a big issue. Like, obviously, you got your number one in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. There is your other number one. 1A and 1B, we'll say. We need another number 3 wide receiver. At least there's competition in this room, and Smith has not done very well. We'll just do it here. So both Johnny Wilson and Smith have been both guys that have been struggling with drops so far. Like, the door is wide open. Go take it. And the two just haven't done it, and it kind of sucks because I think both of them have a lot of talent and can definitely push for some playing time, but for whatever reason, drops have plagued both of them, and both of them have to step it up. Cooper DeJean is another flop for me. So not because of it's necessarily anything of his fault, but I believe it's a hamstring injury, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, he is on the PUP list. I think he's expected to miss something like 3 weeks or something like that. At the end of the day, he has been on the field, and it's been very hard to judge. I think it's kind of a little bit of a major blow to this Eagles secondary, and it sucks because I think Cooper DeJean could be an absolute steal, and I think that he deserves to get in there and do his thing. But I mean, injuries are injuries, and it is what it is at this point. Speaking of injuries, basically every offensive lineman for the Eagles has been injured. Like it's been rough, and I think that the Eagles are in the spot where you are going to be able to test your depth, which is important, but also, hey, we want our guys back. And so I think that at the end of the day, you're going to be able to see where you're at on all levels of this thing. But again, it's going to be really nice when everybody comes back in and we're all looking good and everything. But that is it. That is our very first edition of Flyers and Flops. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be able to bring you more content about the Philadelphia Eagles on a daily basis here on Fam Sports Philadelphia Eagles. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next video.